So I taught in studio on Tuesday, and I talked about, that human junk drawer of our hips. And I looked around and I didn't know if they got it. What do you throw in that drawer? Stuff that you can't process, or where am I going to put this? Or I don't even know what to do with this. I don't even know what this is. Throw it in the drawer. So as we come down and we feel into opening the drawer of the hips, and I know you were with me, Sandy, when I talked about opening the mind. Remember that the garage where we stored all those boxes. We've got all this stuff that we're storing, and for what? For what? Right? Exactly. I love that. I'll image that. Okay. So today in my beautiful book, and Sandy, you were right here with me when I read it. You were never meant to control other people's emotional experiences and perceptions. You were meant to find integrity within yourself, to find your own peace. Do you aim to focus your attention on how your life affects others without realizing that a heart at home within itself acts with love? It's your inner alignment that you must tend to first and foremost. First and foremost. Turning inward is not an act of selfishness, but the act of true kindness. It is only when you realize that you must calm your own storms that you stop pushing rain upon the other people in your life. Right? So here we are. And we try to control and we try to manage and we try to make everybody okay. But this reading on this day says we have to tend to ourselves first, right? Yeah. Okay, let's come down to the mat. I have something to elevate my heart and something to support my head. It's a hip class, so if it feels good to you, find your cobbler pose. And you know what? If cobbler is a little too intense, do a cross-legged. See how that feels when you lay on your mat and just do your cross-legged. Your calves, your heels come outside, and just lay that way, and just begin to experience the opening, not only of the hips, but like me, I'm in a cross-legged reclined. I just begin to feel the opening in the psoas, the hip flexors. My head's supported, my heart is lifted. I squeeze the shoulder blades underneath me so that I have a broadness across my chest. And again, I always say, if it's a physical practice for you, this is opening your chest and letting more air in. If it's a yoga practice for you, this is just relinquishing the stress in the shoulders and opening your heart, ready to receive. So whatever it is for you, let's take a couple breaths here. Deep breathe in, and whether you sigh it out your mouth or whether you exhale through your nose, let it soften you. Let this be the place to receive what you need to receive. Just a couple more rounds of breath. Just warm up the body. Let the mind trace the breath so the mind calms itself down. And let the body just receive the breath. and just be here. Take one more full inhale and let it go. Whatever position your legs are in, just bring them up, knees up, roll over to one side, remove whatever props here under the shoulders, under the head. Take that big stretch, big body stretch. Oh my gosh, if you did core with me yesterday, you will feel that stretch in the whole front body. Stretch it out. And then draw the knees in and take that rock one side to the other. Maybe even little circles to massage down to that tailbone and across from hip to hip. And maybe reverse whatever you're doing. And let's plant the left foot down on the mat as you draw the right knee in. And just draw it in, just up towards that shoulder, nice and easy. Release the shoulder tips. And then as slow as you can, we're going to begin to lift the foot to the ceiling. Lead with the heel, maybe interlace behind the hamstring. Doesn't have to come straight. Just press the heel up until you begin to feel that length in the back of your leg. And just pause here and re-soften the whole upper body. There's no work, no wasted energy there. So just let it go. And then maybe you draw the thigh in closer to the chest, just beginning to open up the back of the glutes, that piriformis muscle. Maybe you walk the hands to the calf. And again, just press the heel up towards the ceiling, the toes down towards the face, maybe even spread those toes as wide as you can, and just circle through that ankle. Just feel into where your hands are hitting on your calf or your shin or your thigh, and just notice the muscles there that are working. And then let's bring it to a pause and bring the big toe up towards the ceiling. So here, stretching through the whole upper foot and the ankle, shin muscles, point. Relax the shoulders and then flex. Send that heel up, toes down towards your face. Notice where the muscles just moved underneath your hands. And then point and flex on your own. Rotate the ankle. Just do what feels good here. As we awaken the bigger muscles in our body, notice your breath. And then bring it back to a neutral foot. Maybe that hand reaches to the outside of the foot, that blade edge. Draw it down, find that half happy baby. Nice and easy. Bring that knee down towards the inner arm. Soften your belly. Notice if you're clenching through your glutes, and just open here. We're beginning to open that drawer. So when we look in, what's there? What can we toss out and just get rid of? Or what needs to be taken to another place? Draw that ankle across the thigh. Find that figure 4. As you arrive, first, please level your hips. So feel both of your hip bones nice and level. Bring the inner hand to the inner thigh. Press the right knee gently away from you. Just begin to open that drawer. Open, feel this opening through the hip. But at the same time, when you open the drawer, what are we tossing out here? What do we not need now? 3 breaths. Knee presses away from us so we get all the space. 2 more breaths, nice and easy. And then we're going to release this. We're going to let that knee fall in towards our chest, maybe even over towards the left shoulder as the hands come and help it to hug it in. It's a little bit of a counter stretch. And we'll return back, figure 4. Maybe this time you don't need the handprint inside the thigh. Maybe the knee just falls away by itself. And without the use of the hands, so the arms can be in cactus or can be in a T position to open up the chest. Use your core, use those hips, draw that whole leg structure up, that right shin in toward, oh, look at the puppy. Down dog. All right, draw it in, draw it in. And then without, again, no hands, mama, no hands. Just rock. Just both feet are flexed. Just rock from one hip to the other hip and just kind of feel into the feels. And the dog above your face. I know. Okay. And then take the hands and interlace them around the left hamstring and just draw it in. And let's just pause here. Let's pause, soften the shoulders and the jaw. Let the dog lick your face. It's all fine. And bring your focus to the right hip and just let it go. Just soften with the breath. One more inhale. And on the exhale, release the clasp and just lower the left foot down to the mat. Coming back, figure 4. One more time, maybe press that knee away. Flex that right foot. Extend your arms, again, cactus or a T. Find the space in the chest and just drop the right sole of the foot over to the left. It doesn't have to come over much. It can come to a block, it can come to your bolster. Just secure it. And once it's secure, take that left arm and wrap it around the ankle so that you can hold that foot down. And the same thing that we just did in figure 4, send the knee away. And just notice if there's more of an opening into the right hip. And soften, shoulders are soft, face is soft, jaw released. Doggy treat for whoever needs it. Big breath in here. And then relax, let it go. The drawer is open. Dump it out. One more breath. If you have the ankle, release. Use your core and draw everything back up to your figure 4 and take it over to the other side. So right knee drops down any amount. Use your bolster, use your block. Use that ankle on the top of the left thigh to drop the left knee down so that you get this nice stretch from the hip through the IT band to the knee. And if you want to just double it down, maybe reach the left arm overhead, rest on the back of the hand. So notice the space you've created from the hip to the knee. But if you've got the arm extended from the hip through the ribs to the fingers, and take a breath. Deep breath in and out. Release the arm, bring the legs back up, take the knees to the chest, bit of a hug, rock them side to side. And then level out the hips. Plant the right foot down. Hug the left knee in. Soften through the shoulders, like you could squeeze your shoulder blades together underneath you. Let them go. And then slowly, let's lift the left leg up. And again, different side, different stretch. So as that heel presses up, the toes point down. Maybe you gather your hands around the hamstring and just draw it in. And just feel. Making any movements here with the hips or the leg. And walking the hands maybe a little bit further up to the calf. Begin to press the heel towards the ceiling. The toes flare toward your face. The back of the ankle, the Achilles, the back of the calf, everything lengthens here. And then this point and flex. So working the front of the shin and the calf. Notice what you feel. And then maybe roll through that ankle one way and the other. Maybe you flare the toes, point and flex. And then bringing it back to a nice flex foot so the heel is sky high. Walk the hands further, your choice. You can always bring the forearm around the knee to find your half happy baby, or if you can reach for the blade edge of that foot, draw the knee down. As you draw the knee down beside the outer ribs, begin to feel into the glutes, that piriformis muscle that sits right on top of the sciatic nerve. If that muscle's tight, it's pressing in. So just give it a gentle release and breathe. 2 more breaths. And then we'll draw that left ankle over the body across to rest on the right thigh. Left fingertips inside the knee, just to gently coax that knee towards the back of the mat. And when you do, notice again what you notice here. What's going on in that left hip? Just pause. Hips are level, hip point to hip point. Finger pads pressing the left knee gently away, and we begin to bring space. So soften again the upper body and breathe. And notice what's on this side of that human junk drawer. 3 breaths. And then we'll prepare for that counter. So if the fingertips are inside the leg, just release that. Let that knee drop in towards the chest, maybe over towards the right side body. Maybe the hands grab outside and you just draw it in. And again, that big stretch through the whole outside of the left glute and hamstring. And take a breath. And then return back, figure 4. So again, if you want to change your arm position, go ahead. Find that space across the chest. Take that deep breath in. Both feet now are going to be flexed as we use our core and the hip muscle. Draw your figure 4 up. So as you draw it up, that left shin comes in closer to the chest. Take a full breath. Maybe interlace around the right hamstring and draw it in even closer. Use that elbow to help prop the knee away. Maybe you rock. So the upper body, there's no wasted energy here. We just soften, but our focus is into the left hip. And just pause and breathe and soften. And then as slow as you can, just release the hand clasp, bring the right foot back down to the mat, pause. And then we're just going to take it over to the right. So the foot is flexed. We're just going to drop it to the right side, onto a block, onto a bolster, onto the floor. The right hand might reach around to hold the ankle or the calf. Press the foot down and without the use of your hands, send the knee away. And just again, notice the space you're creating in this junk drawer that you just might have cleaned down a little bit, right? Just breathe into that. Just find the space. Full breath in. One more. Take the full breath. Use the exhale to soften. And as you're ready for the inhale, release the clasp if you have it. Draw the legs back to neutral. Level out the pelvis, hip to hip. Foot is still flexed. Drop it over now to the left. So the ankle's riding on the outside of the right hip, drawing the right knee down, bringing a stretch from that outer hip IT band to the knee. Take a breath. And if you did so on the other side, maybe you extend the arm overhead so you get that 2-for-1 here. Deep breath in through the whole side body. Find the space and breathe. Nice. Arm comes back down. Let the legs come back up to that neutral position. Pause there first. Then release the ankle, draw the knees into the chest. This time as you hug in, let the tailbone ride up so that you feel this stretch into the low back, and maybe take a rock. And then lastly, just to wash out external, internal rotation of those hips, hands come lightly on top of the knees. Take the knees right and left, make a big wide V. Press them back to the back of your mat as you rock onto that tailbone, and then draw them back into the chest. So nice big circles, but at the same time, feel into the spine, a little massage. And reverse it. We'll take the knees back to the bottom of the mat and out, and then we'll draw them back in. And again, as you're washing out the hips, just feel into the nice massage into the tailbone and roll it up the spine. All right, draw the knees into the chest. There's a big squeeze in. And then let's roll over to one side. Let's make our way to our table. Pat up the knees if you need it with that towel or the blanket. Roll through a couple cat-cows of your choice here. So just, again, get the spine moving. We've been on our back. So dropping that belly down, lifting the heart, lifting the tailbone. Maybe you sway side to side, just like that little doggy. Where'd she go? Again, all right. And as you move in your cat and cow with breath now, with breath, feel into the body. And then bring the knees together, the big toes together, and just sit it back. Let's find a child's pose. Stretch the arms, extend Extend the whole upper body here from the tailbone through the ribs, the shoulders to the fingers. Take a deep breath. One more, and then we'll return to all fours. Finding that modified gate pose, left legs out to the side, right out from the hip point to the heel, the toes point forward. Take a gentle roll through the knee, through the hip joint. Reverse, come back the other way. Return to that neutral gait, gather in your belly, tuck the right toes under so we get a little bit of, I don't know, blood flow through the foot, but then set the hips back. So we're not going to rest on that heel, we're going to hover. Yeah, and we're going to engage that right quad, the inner thigh on the left side, and then bring it back up. And you just coax this, you take it back and you bring it up. So again, draw that belly in, the spine is straight and the neck is right in line with the spine. We're not letting the head drop here, everything in line. And when you feel ready, drop onto your forearms, set the hips back. We're going to hold here 5 breaths. So set it back for whatever you can hold for 5 breaths. It's not a resting pose at all. So deep breath in and out, and in and out. Last one, deep breath in and out. Return weight into the palms. Again, just rock it out nice and easy. Not only a hip stretch, but if you even bring your focus into the wrist, there's a little bit of a wrist stretch here as well. A little 2 for 1. All right. And we're going to move into a modified plank pose. So the left leg is going to come behind you. Swivel the right shin off to the mat and press your hand into the center and open up. Okay. Lift and stretch. And find a half bind just to open the heart. And here we're going to use the hip, lift the leg and lower. So maybe you flex and maybe you point. And take 5. Nice, slow and controlled. Squeeze the glute. Extend, release the bind, re-extend. Circle the arm down by the hip, bring it back around, find your table, and a cat and a cow. Bring it back to that neutral table. I'm just going to flip around just for the screen. You stay like you are. Take one more cat and cow. And then we'll take that leg out to the side, finding that gate, toes point forward. Take a minute, gather the belly, and just maybe circle through the knee and the hip joint. Take it the other way. Return back to that neutral gait. Again, Spread the fingers wide and set the hips back. So I am tucking in, even though I have a broken toe. Thank you very much for the consideration. I am tucking my toes under just to bring some blood flow as I set my hips back and then forward. I'm just going to flow this back and up. Maybe each time, bring my hips back just a bit more so that when I'm ready to hold and hover, I'll drop to the forearms and I'll set my hips back. And here I need to breathe. Different side, different part of the body. So open that drawer, toss it out, set the hips back and hold and breathe. It ain't easy. 4 breaths. Last breath. Push up into the palms. And take a moment here, gather the belly. Bring the knee in, set it back, child's pose. Knees together, and stretch the fingers long. Walk the hands back so they're under the shoulders. Press your way up through the table. Toes are tucked. Lift the hips. Let's find our down dog. So in your down dog, maybe the feet are hip distance. Maybe you pedal and stretch one leg and bend the other. Press the palms away so that that chest comes closer to the thighs. No weight into the wrist. And then come up high onto the balls of the feet. High, high, high. And then lift the heels and then sit them down. Press your hands in. Find the length in the back of the legs. Again, come up high onto the balls of the feet. Heels high. Then press the heels down. Press into the hands. Send the hips back. Last time. Bring it up. And set it down. Right leg lifts. Foot is flexed. Doesn't have to come high. Just enough. Press into the hands. Send the heel away. Bend into the right knee. Open up the right hip. Take a circle. Like you can make a circle on the wall to the side. And the opposite way. And then come back and find that 3-legged dog. Draw the knee in towards the nose and just pause. And then drop the shin down, the knee towards that right wrist as we find our pigeon. And if pigeon isn't good for you, roll onto your back. Find your figure 4 there. The shin can be whatever place is comfortable. For me, my heel is by my groin. I press into my palms. I'm lifting my chest. I'm finding some length. The back leg is straight. The back foot is pointed. Press up. Proud pigeon. And an exhale. Bring it down to the forearms. Maybe you stack your fists. Maybe you rest your head. Take a moment. Level the hips here. We're not resting on one side. Hips are level. Find your breath. If you want the quad stretch, just bend the back knee and bring the heel in. You don't even have to reach for it. But if it's there for you, find it. Grab that foot and bring it in. Again, drop the chest down. The shoulders are level to the top of your mat. And your breath is easy, wherever you are. Deep breath in and out. If you have your foot or in the quad stretch, release it gently. That leg goes back long. Take a deep breath here. Bring your hands underneath your shoulders. Press your chest up. And we're going to take that back leg and we're just going to swing it around. I'm not going to try and hit my chair over here, but we're just going to swing it all the way around to the front of our mat, right? Oh, there she is. And then cross it over that right thigh so that you can plant the foot. Can you see me? Good. Okay. So hug the knee in here. Hug the knee in. And what's important here is feel from the low back through that piriformis muscle, through the glute, into the hamstring, and just draw it in and just release. We'll use the right elbow to hug the left knee in. We'll find a little bit of a twist here. So left hand comes behind you, just press it down, lift your chest, just rotate to the left. Take a deep breath. And then release, and let's counter that by both hands over to the right. Yeah. And then just bow down as far as you can. Maybe the forearms. Can you come to the forearms? Bend the elbows, drop the head. And then press back up. Gently release the left leg. Bring it around, and let's come back. Downward facing dog. Your way. Just find it. Pedal out the feet. Stretch the legs. Again, press the palms away from you so that you're not coming straight down into that wrist. And the chest comes closer to the thighs. And then pause and come up onto the balls of the feet. Lift the heels high. And then drop both heels down. Stretch those legs. And then come back up onto the balls of the feet. And press back. One more time. Find the length. Shift the weight to the right foot as you lift the left leg. And bend the left knee. Open up the hip. Keep the shoulders straight to the top of the mat and just make some circles. Big, little, switch it out. Back to three-legged dog when you're ready. And the knee comes to nose. Plank. Drop that knee over to the left wrist. Stretch the right leg long. Find your pigeon on this side. If it doesn't work for you, remember, you can always take a seated pigeon or on your back. Lift the chest and drop it down. Forearms, maybe the fists, maybe your block. Rest the head. Level the hips out here so you're not resting over onto one side. Again, if the quad stretch serves you, and you should, anytime we do hamstrings, you got to do the other muscles, the quad. So just lift that back foot, bring the heel towards the glute. Doesn't have to be much. Or if you're open, reach for the foot. Draw it in, soften your chest. Quite honestly, in my junk drawer, this is my most important part right here. Release the leg, let it go back long if you've got it up. Press it into your palms, into your shoulders, come back to that proud pigeon, stretch long. And then take that back leg and just kind of swerve it around so that the foot plants on the outside of the left thigh and hug it in. There you go, hug it in. Nice and long. And then we're going to just take a little bit of a twist so that left elbow might hug into the right knee. The right hand comes behind you, press into the fingertips, lift the chest, straighten the spine. Take a breath. And gently we'll release this by bringing the head back to neutral. Bring the arms back around. Take a little bow over to the left. Bring yourself back to center. Now here, and this is huge. So if it doesn't work for you, you just modify. That foot that's outside the left thigh, draw it down towards your hip, that heel to the hip. So almost like you're stacking your knees. Cow face pose. Lift the arms. Take a nice stretch. Take the right hand to the elbow of the left and just stretch it up. And then switch it out. That right elbow goes to the ceiling, the left hand rests on top, stretch it out. And then release both arms back up and bring them behind you. So it's just a little baby back bend here. On your fingertips, press in and open your chest. And then come back. And as slow as you can, unravel and see if you can take it to the opposite side. So again, each side is different. That left heel kind of scooching up to the right hip, trying to level out the knees, right? Take a moment here. Lift the arms. Again, take cow face arms, stretch through one elbow, open up the side. And reverse. And if this isn't ever accessible to you, there's always the possibility of just extending one leg and just doing the crossover of the leg instead of both knees coming together. Inhale, reach the arms up, take them back behind you. One more little back bend on your fingertips. Lift the chest, let the head fall back. Back to center. Unravel, legs come out in front of you. Just give them a squeeze, maybe a little massage into the hip points. All the way down the legs. Bring the hands outside of the calves. Slide them up towards your hips. As you slide them up, come onto your forearms. Find that nice chest opener here. Drop the head back. And slowly curl from the tailbone, low back, low ribs, shoulder blades, shoulders and head come down to the mat. Take a deep breath. Then bend the knees, coming into like that bridge position. Lift your hips and just set them off to the right side, maybe an inch. Take that right leg and cross it over the left. Maybe you find your eagle legs, maybe you don't. Doesn't matter. Find a twist. Drop the knees over to the left. So again, this comes through the back, through the glutes, down the outside of the leg. Soften your shoulders. Maybe gaze over to the opposite side and just let it go. Enjoy one more full inhale and exhale. Gather the legs back to center. Uncross. Bring the hips back to the middle of your mat. Just pause there. Just feel the spine. Then lift the hips, take them over to the left just a bit so that you can cross the left leg over the right. Eagle them if you want to. Drop them over to the right. And again, soften the shoulders. Feel into the upper ribs and breathe. And if it serves you, maybe you rotate the head. 3 breaths. Next breath, again, gather it all back up. Unravel the legs and bring the hips back to that center point and draw the knees into the chest. Again, give yourself permission to lift the tailbone up and just feel into the whole low back and take a rock. And then we're going to bring ourselves into our final resting pose. And whatever that is for you, whether it's legs resting on the couch, a dog sitting on your tummy, find your relaxation here. Whatever props you need, stretch it out, close your eyes. Squeeze your shoulder blades underneath you and tuck your chin into your chest. And here, just come for the pause. Come for how you want to lay out this day. And just pause. It's your breath, it's your body, it's your practice. Namaste. If you have the time, turn off your device and enjoy this moment. I'm going to leave you here. Tomorrow, we're going to have Barb. Barb is joining us, and she's going to lead us in a Zen class. So take a deep breath, and we'll see you back here tomorrow. Namaste.